the Team Engagement Podcast, where leaders share their insights on leadership. It's 6 questions in 9 minutes because leaders know how to be concise. So let's jump right into it. Question number 1. In just a few sentences, share with me your name and what you do.
So my name is Brent Pohlman. I'm with Midwest Laboratories. I'm the CEO, and what I get to do is I get to work with a team of scientists every day to make a difference in the lives of people across the globe.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, what's the question number 2? What's the best thing about working with the team?
You know, the best thing about working with a team, it's always what I've wanted to do. I've always wanted to be a coach. I follow professional sports, and as part of that whole team atmosphere, we can work on different initiatives, ideas, plays, and again, we can do all kinds of amazing things through that. And I'm a hugely competitive guy, and I like to win. And because of that, I think bringing everybody together as one team has always been a goal and a driver for me my whole professional career.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love that. Well, I hear from other leaders that it is sometimes a challenge to get team members engaged. Tell me your thoughts on that.
Absolutely. I think leadership is also selling. I mean, you have to sell yourself every single day. And as part of that, as being a leader, you have to know where you're going. I don't think I realized how important that is in the lives of my employees. They want to know where the company's going. They want to know what the leader is thinking all the time. And when you don't have those thoughts, or you don't show that that you have that information with confidence, then they're not confident and they're wondering what's going on. And then they start to ask the questions about those type of things. So again, as a leader, you always have to work on your strategic game. You got to be out of the day to day. You got to be looking forward, and always, what's the best thing? What's the next move? Where are we going with this project? Where's the business going? How are we going to do next month? How are we going to handle things in the midst of a crisis? So all those things, you always have to be looking ahead.
Oh, that's great information. Thank you. Well, question number 4. What other leaders, successful leaders, such as yourself, could you suggest to be on the podcast?
Well, first and foremost, I'm going to start with my leadership team. I think I have the best leadership team. I think you could interview any one of those people. And again, it took me a long time to really find a cohesive team that works together. But right now, I have 4 individuals. They're all leaders in their different respective areas. And I can trust and rely on those guys to do anything. And that really is the heart of everything. You got to have a leadership team like that. The person outside the business that's probably taught me the most here is Mark Hunter, Mark the Sales Hunter. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's got a new book out, and it's about sales and leadership together. And he's a local person here out of Omaha, but he travels the world with different consulting groups. He works with big companies, small companies. But again, it's always about leadership. And leadership, again, it's everything about how to drive a company forward. The last person I would probably say is my all-time idol, and that's Tom Peters. I mean, I grew up with Tom Peters from the 70s, the 80s, in search of excellence. I still follow what he writes today. I think the guy is amazing, and it doesn't matter what we're in or where we're at. He's always writing something, and he's creating those creative juices from a leadership perspective. And I've just always enjoyed his writing. So that would be my other person that I would definitely want to hear. I've heard him a couple times live, but definitely if you could interview him, he'd be great.
Well, that's great information. Thank you for sharing that. Question number 5. What ideas would you give or advice would you give to other leaders of teams?
You know, I would say stay positive. If you can at all possible, be positive. What your reflection is to your people, they remember. I'm learning that more and more as we go through this current crisis that we're in. And if we can stay positive, it shows so much. And again, it's hard. It's absolutely hard when you hear all kinds of negative things out there. But I would say staying positive. The other one that I would say as a leader that I've really learned the last couple of years is self-care. You have to
Mm.
take care of yourself. If you're not on your A game, by all means, you can't work effectively with the other people. So you've got to take care of yourself. You've got to drink enough. You've got to be active physically. I mean, you got to eat the right foods. All those things that I probably didn't do early in my career that I've learned over years, but that's made all the difference too. You have to be on your A game, and there's so much as leader again. As far as dealing with stress and those things. And again, I've learned so much in the last couple of years, but self-care is huge for leaders.
Well, that's great information. That's great ideas and advice. Thank you. Well, the sixth and final question, tell us about your first job.
Well, so my first job is actually where I'm at today. It's
Wow.
at Midwest Laboratories. Yeah, I started when I was 15, and my dad pretty much threw me into the lab and said, start learning everything you can in there. And I think what it really taught me was, first off, I got to interact with the people on the floor, and I was not afraid to do the job that nobody else wanted. And also, I wanted to hear the conversations that all the other employees were saying. So when they would tell me things, obviously I would keep those to myself. I would not tell the leadership in that because I wanted to earn their trust. I wanted to see what they were thinking. And through the years, I've met up with former employees at different places, or and some that were actually were there when I was there when I was 15, and we really talk about those things that hey, we had those conversations way back when, and I could trust you. I always thought I could trust you, and that's been
Mm.
always huge throughout my career. If you can again gain the trust of wherever you're at in your career ladder, that's really the biggest difference for me is trust.
Oh, that's great. What a great story. Thank you for sharing that. Well, Brent, thank you for being on the podcast today. Tell us how people can find you.
They can find me. Our website is midwestlabs.com. You can connect with me on LinkedIn as well. I do regular posts out there. But again, I've got a team behind me, a marketing team as well. So midwestlabs.com. We have a Facebook page. We're active on Twitter, LinkedIn. So anywhere on social media. So thank you again.
Well, fantastic. Well, this is Sean Richards with the Team Engagement Podcast, where leaders share their insights. For more ideas, go to Blue Sky Business Consulting on LinkedIn.